Well, hello, Tyson. What is up?
Man, we've welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to episode 160 of Nic, Tys and Videotape. We have recovered from our Halloween spookisodes.
We have.
We took a week off.
In doing so, we have lanced off an orange virus. We have lanced it off, and it can go fuck off.
Yeah, absolutely.
It can go fuck off.
And you know what? Look, we don't get political on this show very often, but
we don't at all. But
see you
Donald
bye.
Trump, go fuck yourself.
And that is the extent. But we did, yes, we did take a week off after our spookisodes just to, regroup, watch countless hours of men pointing at maps. And I can no longer look at the colours red or blue without having some kind of personal, reaction to them. So I'd say that was a week well spent, Nicholas. But we're back. We are back.
We're back. We're refreshed. We've slept now. We're okay.
We have slept now. It's all very exciting stuff. And we get to talk about non-horror movies for a while, Nick, which is going to be fun. Exactly. Only for a few weeks before we then have to talk about Christmas movies. But
that's true. A
couple of weeks of normal.
Exactly. They were putting up Christmas decorations in my work as I was leaving. I was like,
oh hello.
Shit. Okay. Yep.
Wasting no time. And look, that's right. It's early to mid-November. We're almost into the second third of November. So I guess... Christmas is around the corner, so out come the decorations. We're not quite there yet, but this week, Nick, we're talking about... What are we talking about?
The Rocketeer.
The Rocketeer. I love this
1991.
Choice. Well, the grand old simple year of 1991. I love this choice. I'm not sure how popular this movie's going to be amongst our listeners or anybody, really, to be honest.
Who cares? This is for us.
This is one for us. Absolutely.
This is definitely for us. We grew up on this sucker.
I didn't grow up on it, to be honest. I'll tell you the story when we get there. But, Nick, before we do any of that, why don't you tell the people at home where they can find our show?
I haven't done this in a while. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for joining our show. And welcome if this is your first time. My name is Nicholas. This is my good friend Tyson. You can listen to us talk about movies on this podcast. We don't really review them. We just talk about them and things of that nature. We have a lot of different categories and different shows and things like that we do.
We do.
But this is just one that we're just talking just one movie. The last episode, we ranked the Nightmare on Elm Street Legacy, which was great.
Yeah, go back and check that out if you're new to the show, because that was a lot of fun.
It was. But yes, if you are listening to us, thank you so much. And please subscribe, rate, review, all of those things. We would love it so much if you did. Other than that, we are on the social medias. So if you wish to jump on Facebook and type in Nic, Tys and Videotape, you'd be able to find us, and then you can follow us and find out other things that we put on there when the new episode launches, because sometimes it actually launches on Facey before it launches on the apps, which is interesting and so bizarre. It doesn't make any sense.
Who knows the order that things come out, but they eventually happen.
They do. So yes, we are on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. We do have an email account if you wish to send us some correspondence. We are at nictysonvideotape@gmail.com. And Tyson and myself are big fans of the Letterboxd app. So if you wish to find out what we did rate the entire Nightmare on Elm Street Legacy, you can look that up, or you can follow Tyson on TYS_videotape, and I'm Nic_videotape, and find out what we rated The Rocketeer, because we do not talk about it on this show.
No, we
just
don't.
As a little sizzler. A
little bit of sizzle. Nick, we're also going to bring back a segment we didn't do for a couple of weeks, and that is...
Oh, sure.
What are we going to do?
Oh, we're going to talk some trailers?
Yeah, we are.
Let's do that.
Everybody's talking trailers.
Okay.
All right, Nick, what should we do first? We have a couple that we're going to talk about.
Yeah, this is... I like this. This is going to be a nice topic. Let's talk Bowie. Let's do that.
All right,
first.
so we're going to talk the movie called Stardust.
Stardust. Let's do that.
Hello.
Name?
David Bowie.
12 singles, every one a total failure, except Space Oddity. The record company finds the album too weird for the Yanks.
I need to be known. I need them to know me.
There's only one guy at Mercury who doesn't hate your new record with every bone in his body.
David Bowie, I presume. Ron Oberman, Mercury Records.
We got a packed couple weeks coming up. Chicago, Philadelphia, New York, and then out to L.A.
I think we can make it work. All it takes is one believer to change the world. And we got two.
Two?
You believe in yourself, don't you? think you're going to be the biggest star in America.
This is a Queen family rock station, so keep it safe.
Tell me about the new album. What's it all about?
It's about the years I spent dressing in women's clothes and getting laid.
You want to know why it's not working? If anyone dares to ask you about your actual work, you just do the mystical mime act.
There is no authentic me. It's just fear.
Well, then, be someone else. Be someone else.
I don't want to go mad. I want to take my fantasies on stage with me.
Act like a star and they'll think you're a star. Don't stop until you have them on the floor, groveling.
You're not a space alien. You're from Bromley, man.
Oh, yes, I am. Rock star or somebody impersonating a rock star? What's the difference?
Very good, Nick.
Okay.
Now, I didn't really know this movie existed, was coming, or anything. Trailer landed. I thought, oh, yeah, okay, cool.
Yep.
Bowie biopic.
Yep.
I'm all about it.
Sure. We're in. Who isn't in?
Well, I mean, anyone that watched the trailer, I guess, is not going to be in, because this was pretty disappointing, Nick.
Oh, beyond disappointing, Tyson. Like, if you were to say to me, we're going to do a Bowie biopic, and after we've just had Queen and Freddie Mercury, and we've just had Elton John. So obviously, if you're coming to this table of wanting to do the story of someone who has touched many, many people with his art and his music, you're going to take it in a different route to what we've seen, especially with David Bowie, because there are so many ways that you could do this story. And what we are getting is another cookie cutter. Starts off, he's kind of you kind of get from the sense of the trailer that he's a little bit of a struggling artist. And then his agent, who is Mark Maron, his agent tells him that he needs to change things up and be himself a bit more. So it's sort of Bowie kind of finds himself and ends up, I think it's the time where he goes from his first album into Ziggy Stardust. Because in the end, he's kind of, playing with makeup and costume and things like that, and he becomes Ziggy. And I can tell you, Tyson, as being like I grew up on Bowie when we lived in our first house where I was born with my mum. My mum was quite young at the time, and she had, I think for me it was fucking huge. It was like a floor to roof portrait of David Bowie.
Right.
So David Bowie's been throughout my life like quite a bit, listening to his music, things like that. He was the reason that I wore eyeliner for many, many years.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and this was probably the most uninspiring trailer I have ever seen. Like, really just fucking... I watched it, I was like, wow, what an absolute piece of shit that looks.
For an artist like Bowie, who, I mean, if anything, is not normal, not predictable, not cookie cutter, has gone against the grain for the entirety of his career, managed to be completely unique in that time.
In every sense of the word, yeah.
To have this trailer, which seems like not even as interesting as Bohemian Rhapsody. Like, you know...
At least after you watched that trailer, you were like, okay, cool.
Yeah, I mean, that's it. That trailer left everyone pretty pumped. Like, it seemed like we could be in for something. And I even think about Rocket Man, which I think is a little bit underrated considering how much that's just been forgotten about. Which I thought was really quite great. And the ways that kind of broke the norms of the musical biopic. Like, it was still there and it was still built into its foundations, but it really tried to mix it up a little bit and did different things, and by creating that kind of musical atmosphere while not entirely adhering to like a straightforward narrative structure, suddenly you've got something that matches the artist, like matches the quality of the artist, matches the contribution of the artist. And you think for Bowie, you think it's going to be something like really
the sky's
something.
The limit. You could do
exactly.
anything. You could do anything.
And look, I don't want to hang shit on it without seeing it, but it just feels like a real wasted opportunity to just go in and go, Oh, yeah, here you go. Like, I'm sure we've got a bazillion VH1 specials on the life of David Bowie, and that will just tell us that if that's what we want to know.
Exactly.
What we want is something that matches his contribution, like
and his style, his imagination.
That's it, man. That's it. And look, I'm not the world's hugest Bowie fan. I'm the first to admit it. I've always been a little bit kind of like on the fence. Like there's some stuff that I really like, and there's some other stuff that I think is really what's the word I'm thinking of?
Strange.
Yeah, but strange isn't a bad thing. I don't not like strange. I'm going to say indulgent, I guess.
Oh, sure.
You know,
yeah, sure.
It's a little bit kind of like, if you're a super fan, you think it's like this poignant fucking, like, amazingly, detailed artistic craft. And if you're someone on the outside looking in, it's just kind of like, yeah, but it's all just a bit much, isn't it? And I feel like he juggles that line a little bit for me. His bangers are fucking bangers. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, if some of those tunes pop up on a playlist or I'm listening to them, I'm getting down with the best of them.
Yeah. No one skips a Bowie song.
No, but the thing is, that's like, even when his stuff doesn't work for me, and it feels like it's like it's not succeeding as much as other people think it is, I can still sit back and go, fuck, but at least he's trying some shit, man. And he's always reinventing himself, always trying to push the boundaries and push the envelope. And this just doesn't seem to be doing that at all.
Yeah. And do you think, like, seeing the trailer, casting, like, if you're ever going to cast someone, you need to... He had a very particular look, and that look was quite androgynous. So you need to, play with that. Hence why it was kind of a given, just like fucking Patrick Stewart was always going to play Professor Xavier. Like, fanboys, even before the first X-Men movie, were like, well, clearly it's going to be Picard.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, clearly. Like, you paid through the nose to get him because he looks so much like him. In saying that, if you were to ask me before I saw this trailer who's going to play David Bowie, it's Tilda Swinton. What do you even say? Like,
that's fantastic. It's literally a fantastic casting choice. I really do think it actually should have been a woman playing him.
Exactly.
Like, it just like, I think of something like, and this is a movie that I have not seen all the way through, so I can't speak entirely to it, but I have seen portions of it. I didn't love it, but I respected it. I'm Not There, the Dylan thing.
Yeah, the Dylan one, yeah. I haven't seen it either, and I've always wanted to because that casting looks great. So you've seen parts of that, have you?
Yeah, well, because I was mostly just interested in certain elements to it. So I've watched certain, because it's kind of split up into parts. I've watched certain people portray him, and I think of the way Kate Blanchett plays Dylan in that movie, and I'm like, that's what it needs. That would be so good. Yeah. Or even have two different actors and have like a woman playing the Ziggy Stardust stuff, and have someone else playing the Bowie when he's just man on the street Bowie, or even vice versa. Like, I don't know. Yeah.
Change it up. Just change every scene. Why not?
Because you can go real non-naturalistic with him, because that was his whole career. His whole career was based around that kind of element of presenting a person that was completely out of the ordinary and completely surreal. Yeah, so exactly. I don't know, man. I don't know.
It's just it's sad. It's a waste. Who knows this? But like that, this is the thing. How many Hendrix, like VH1, like you said, movies that we've had where, and the last one we had, they asked the Hendrix Foundation, which is his family, if they could use any music. They said no. They still made the movie, and unfortunately, that it hurts it hurt the film massively because no one ever saw that film.
No.
So maybe this one's just going to go the way of the dodo, and we'll get one eventually where someone's like,
I feel like this is in the category of your you're miles ahead. You're nowhere boy.
No, Miles Ahead was good.
Yeah, but it's not considered the definitive biopic of this person. You know what I mean? Because a lot of these ones have multiple. A lot of these artists have multiple movies about their lives, where it's either it's like
James Dean or whatever.
Yeah, maybe it's a biopic, or maybe it's like a certain part of their career. Like, think about how often, like, if you think about someone like Elvis, and we're getting another Elvis biopic from Baz Luhrmann soon.
Yeah,
but let's just think of like the strange ways they've told Elvis stories. We've got the one about when he met Nixon, which was like
that was my fave. Fuck, that was
which
hilarious.
is a weird experience that they had, and it's like they've managed to expand that into a movie. There's there's Bubba Hotep, where what if Elvis didn't die and he was just living in a retirement home that got attacked by an Inca mummy? Like that kind of stuff.
79's Kurt Russell one.
The Kurt Russell one, which is much more of a straightforward biopic, you know?
Biopic,
There's artists that can have these multiple kind of angles to their biopic story. And I feel like Bowie is one of them, where I don't think this is going to be the iconic one. I don't think this is going to be the one that we're going to remember. This is going to be the one that just sits back. And it's like, remember that time? Yeah, they tried to do this one and it didn't really work. But hey, how good's this one, though?
Exactly. Remember the Mark Maron, David Bowie one? No? Oh.
Who's Mark Maron? Is he the guy that plays the agent?
Yeah, he's the guy who plays the agent. I know him from the TV show Glow.
Oh, and, yes.
My wife listens to his podcast a little bit. He had his own show where it was him as a comedian, and he doesn't in the TV show. He runs his podcast, which is his normal podcast, but he doesn't you don't see interviews of the podcast that's happening at the time.
Sure,
but yeah. He's all right. He's okay. He's all right.
Yeah. He's okay.
Ooh. He's okay. Much like this trailer.
It's just okay.
It's not even okay.
Well, I mean,
it's not even okay.
Look, I'm and the fact that the internet didn't kind of light up with this either means that I think they're really going to have to reconsider their marketing. They're going to go back to the drawing board. I think they were expecting that this was going to be a bigger deal. It's like, okay, guys, we're dropping the trailer. It's going to explode. And until I was searching through the trailers on YouTube, I actually physically had to go to it and say, is this what? A David Bowie what? I had no idea it existed. So I really don't think it achieved what they wanted it to achieve. And everyone is I wouldn't be surprised if everybody's in kind of damage control in Stardust land.
That's bad, man. It's bad.
Well, come on. If there was a biopic about David Bowie and the trailer dropped, as if that thing wouldn't explode. Be shared by...
Exactly.
Remember when Yesterday came out? Like, the trailer for Yesterday.
Oh, that was huge.
People lost their fucking minds over that trailer. And it's just a dude singing Beatles songs. Like, it's not even about the Beatles.
Nothing out of the... Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Everyone loved that. You know why? Because that trailer was well put together.
The trailer was great.
It got you out of your seat and you were like, that looks great.
Yes. Shame about the movie.
Yeah. It is. It's such a missed... I remember you talking about it. It was just a missed opportunity. Like, when you're watching it, you're like, wow, you could have done so much more with this story. Like, I remember watching it. There are some great parts. I have no idea why Ed Sheeran is in it a lot.
I'm
like, why are you in this? What the fuck are you in this movie
It's going to age so badly. In 30 years, people people still remember the Beatles and it'll be like, who the fuck is that redhead guy?
Who the fuck is this redhead dude?
I mean, he can sing all right. And you'll be like, well, that's Ed Sheeran. He was popular for about 10 years back in the early aughts.
What's the aughts? You got the aughts? No, I said I got the warts. Warts that got off my feet. God damn it. Ed Sheeran. Fucking hell.
Look, he'll probably outlive us all. Ed Sheeran.
Oh, definitely.
Shall we move on, Nicholas?
Let's talk about something else.
What was the other one called?
It was called Songbird.
Oh, yes, it was.
Good morning, Miss Garcia.
Good morning, sunshine. I miss you. I could kiss you right now.
Yeah, well, someday.
Curfew is now in effect. All unauthorized citizens must stay indoors.
Tensions rise as we enter the 213th week of lockdown.
A grim new reality emerges.
COVID-23 has mutated.
Beginning thermal scan. Thermal scan normal.
A horrifying new development
today. New data confirms the virus attacks the brain tissue.
Hey, whoa! I'm immune!
Worldwide death toll rises to over 110 million.
All infected Americans are being forced into quarantine camps.
Sarah, what's going on?
Department of Sanitation.
Sarah, talk to me.
I think my neighbor has a fever.
It'll be so much easier if you just open the door. Mrs. Grant, you have visitors.
Sarah, please. Sarah, open that door. Sarah, do not open that door.
thermal scan. 3, 2, 1. Anomaly detected. Armed guards will be arriving in 4 to 6 hours. You must not attempt to leave your home, or you will be shot on sight.
This is my message to you. I know you're in there.
They're coming. I have to let you go.
No. Sarah! Sarah!
Say goodbye to me.
Sarah, I'm not letting you give up. This is my message.
Sometimes we have to do things we don't want to survive.
I'm trying to save the one person left in my life that matters to me.
I can't help you. What you're talking about is illegal.
Every little thing gonna be all right. And remember, stay safe, sane, and sanitized.
All right, Nick, I have one question for you, and one question only.
Tyson? Okay.
Too soon?
Little. Just a little.
Just a little? Yeah, I feel it too.
It's not... we are in a very, very different position than the rest of the world. We are kind of the first country to have... no cases and things like that.
But I feel like our New Zealand friends will be quite upset that you said that.
Oh, that's true. God damn it! No, they got no. Oh no, they did. Yeah, that's right. But yeah, do you know what I mean? Like watching it from our perspective, we're very close to we went full lockdown, and now it's we're by Christmas, we may be taking the masks off. But that's just an if. But yeah, I think that... but that's the thing, Tyson, watching this trailer, I would like to see this movie. It looks quite appealing to me.
I think...
is it too soon? Hell yes, it's too soon. It is way too soon.
The thing that frustrates me about it is that I just... Although, yes, the trailer... I thought it was a pretty well put together trailer, to be honest. I enjoyed it. I thought it was, whenever I see Bradley Whitford pop up in something, I immediately get excited because I just love him to death. Yeah. Even seeing Demi Moore, who I think is kind of has been forgotten about a little bit, and I'm always excited to see her in stuff. But that's that's the 80s and 90s fan in us coming out. No one else is excited to see Demi Moore except for us. We're like, ooh, Demi.
Demi Moore.
But it's... Aside from the fact that it name drops the current pandemic that we're facing in the trailer.
It does.
Aside from the fact that it name drops it, there's nothing original about this, which I find kind of frustrating, is that that's what makes me feel like it's a bit of a cash-in. It's like they found a script for a movie about a pandemic and changed the name of the disease to COVID and then went, yes. We got some money making here, boys.
We got some money making. Let's do it.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, fair enough. I hear.
And that's what feels a little too soon about it. I'm like a bit. That's a bit icky.
And looking at this trailer, there's quite a bit of. It looks like there's a bit of money behind it. Looking at the aerial shots and how they've,
for sure.
You know what I mean? And how they've done the people in quarantine. And the aerial shots and the big signs across the "Let us out" and how many deaths have happened. There's a bit of money behind that. So it tells me that, they can't have just slapped this thing together in 6 months. Do you know what I mean? So was the movie already going to come out before COVID-19 hit? And then when COVID-19 hit, they did rewrites and changed it?
So maybe the news footage with... where it says that it's called, well, what is it called now? COVID-23 or something?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
And look,
it's mutated.
So maybe you're right. Maybe that's they just altered that in the news footage and stuff to make it seem like, check it out, guys, it's what you're living through at the moment.
Yeah.
Which that's too soon because so here's the problem, right? Movies are escapism. Movies are, in Halloween, we watch horror movies. We watch people get murdered repeatedly. We watch, movies where people get trapped in a fucking dungeon together and have to slowly kill each other one by one.
Nice.
If that happened to us, I don't think we'd be watching those movies. I think that would be a personal trauma that we would not want to really relive. For everybody else, it's an expression. Yeah, it's a release. Yeah. It's like, for a lot of people, the horror movie watching is like it fires our imagination. It releases tension. It releases adrenaline. It kind of gets us. Yeah. We find things that we love about it because because there is such extreme storytelling in it. But if you're one of these people who lost a mum, dad, brother, sister, auntie, uncle to COVID, you're not lining up to watch the fucking movie about COVID, the weird horror thriller about COVID, are you? No.
No, you're definitely not. You're definitely not.
And at the moment, that's the families of 250,000 people. Like, that's that's a lot of people that aren't going to want to watch this movie.
Yeah, so why would you do that? And especially because, we would just watch the news.
Yeah, fuck. Just watch the news.
We would just watch. Yeah.
If you got a hankering for this stuff.
If this is, if this is it can't be a director's vision. Like, do you know what I mean? It would have to be, because a director has said no, cut, action, all that shit on this thing. So, is it his vision that he wants to show us, or is it a female director or a male director?
I looked him up before, and I honestly cannot even remember anything about it. And I remember thinking, oh, that's interesting. Now it's completely gone.
Yeah, Adam Mason. Is it his intention to show us what could happen? Because, to be honest, that still could happen. If COVID-19 mutates and turns into something where we have to really, like, we've already changed our lifestyle. Lifestyles have been changed because of this thing. If it has to turn where, it's going to really drastically change things and not for the better. Like, what we see in this trailer is we see a relationship that is over WebEx or something like that. They haven't seen each other in months, but they're still going together. Like, there would be that happening now. You would have couples like that who are out of the radius of not being able to see each other.
Yeah.
Why? What is his intention with this movie?
Just to go back to what you just said, I don't think that the movie lacks sympathetic characters. I'm sure that there's a lot of people that have experienced exactly what these characters are going through in this film. There will be, people that have had to watch somebody start coughing and develop a fever and then get carted away and put behind hospital perspex and not being able to be seen and not be able to talk to, and then they have died. And you didn't even get to have that last kind of conversation with them. None of that kind of stuff. You have people, who have been in long-distance relationships for about a year now because maybe somebody... there's people still stuck overseas from their home countries. Maybe someone went overseas for a fucking wedding.
Exactly.
And just got stuck over there,
Yeah, exactly.
For me, it's kind of like I know that we release movies at certain points when they're topical, of course, but when it's this kind of like worldwide tragedy, like they weren't pumping out 9/11 movies like 2 weeks later. They at least gave it like 3 years, 3 or 4 years.
Yeah, exactly.
And
but they were very different type of movies, though. They were not. It was kind of a coming together of people to survive. It was a survival story.
Yeah.
Whereas this looks like a survival horror. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, it's not a coming together with people. We're gonna defeat what's happened. We're gonna get over it. It's gonna be great. This looks like, the beginning of the end of civilization, and all of a sudden we're in, The Road by Cormac McCarthy type deal.
Yeah, 100%.
So 100%. I agree. Yeah, I agree with you. I think it is a bit too soon. In saying that, Tyson, the trailer looks fucking. It looked
entertaining for sure.
It looked really good.
And if this was about a zombie outbreak, or if this was about like something like Children of Men, where people were people were suddenly sterile, or people like something along the lines of fucking even like Bird Box, where people were just suddenly going mental when they saw something in the sky. Like, that, if it was that, I think I'd be more interested in this movie, because then it would kind of have this I kept thinking of like District 9 when I was watching it, and I was like, something like District 9 where they've taken what is essentially, a refugee crisis and turned it into an alien movie. Why can't we use the current crisis as a metaphor for something else, and then we have parallels to what's happening in our world at the moment compared to what would happen in the case of a vampire outbreak? Let's just say that everybody who got a blood transfusion accidentally turned into vampires, right?
Nice.
Suddenly we have this worldwide pandemic.
Shit. Damn, I would see that movie.
But
Can
it's
you
about
write that movie.
Yeah, I actually just came up with that just then, and I'm really excited about it. Someone accidentally
Can someone write that, please? Someone write that.
Or even something like It Follows, which takes STDs and uses it as a metaphor for the plot of that film. So we have these parallels. Yeah. This movie is completely lacking any kind of subtlety in that regard, and I find that really kind of strange and icky, and I don't like it. I don't like it at all.
Yeah, it's true.
I don't know. But then trailer looked good. I love Bradley Whitford. I would
Bradley Whitford.
I'd go to him to the death.
I'd like to know what Bradley Whitford thinks about this. That'd be interesting.
Well, he seems like a really kind of clued in guy and a really kind of compassionate.
He is very switched on.
Yeah. Very progressive views.
Our Twitter account follows Bradley Whitford. Did you know that?
I did not know that. That's awesome.
Did you know that? Yeah. He's very much on Twitter quite a bit and very vocal about the election and everything, obviously because of the man was in West Wing for so many, But I'd like to know what he thinks. Maybe we can tweet and ask him.
Maybe we'll formulate some kind of long-winded question about, hey, Bradley Whitford, what the fuck?
Yeah, man. I'm pretty sure your country still is not in
still in the middle of dealing with this shit at the moment. Are you sure you want to be exploiting this by making a sci-fi thriller out of the current pandemic?
Exactly.
But
I'd love for people to watch this trailer. It is called Songbird, and if you're brave enough to write us in and tell us what maybe you think, I would love to hear it. I'd love to hear what you think about this.
That's a great idea.
Is it too on the nose? Is it too on the nose? Is it too soon? Sort of thing, or maybe. Like, what could you possibly think a reason for this is to be okay? Because you're right, Tyson. No one's going to see this thing. No one's going to see this.
Not if things stay. It's not if things stay the way they are. Because we watch movies to escape, not to feel worse about the current predicament that we're in.
Exactly. Unless when you hire this movie from your local Video Easy, you get a
vaccine.
Vaccine with it.
Free vaccine with every rental. Video Easy vaccine guarantee.
Get it first time and get it free.
That is probably the most in poor taste joke we've made. Maybe.
Yes, it is. And
I stand by.
We will swiftly move on.
Should we move on to our feature press, Nick? Let's do that.
Let's talk the Rocketeer.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
And now for our feature presentation. To some, it was the fulfillment of a dream. To others, it was an instrument of destruction. A creation that could change the course of history.
It was stolen from my factory. Where's the package?
This is the FBI!
What do we tell the president?
Tell me exactly why this merchandise is so important to the feds.
It's a rocket.
A rocket?
What? What's the matter?
I don't know. There's something under the seat.
Oh, my. What are we doing here? What are you supposed to do? Is it a bomb or something?
No. I wouldn't touch that if I were you.
How do I look?
Like a hood ornament. Stand clear. What was that?
A flying man!
Big gopher.
Are you trying to kill yourself?
I like it.
Uh-oh, we got company.
You steer, I'll push. You're what?
I will not rocket today. Not next week, not tomorrow. Now.
Keep your eyes open for this dame.
Jenny's in trouble.
They're working for a Nazi agent.
With an army equipped with these, you could rule the world.
You touch one hair on her head, I swear I'll...
Shoot him!
We've got the girl. The rocket will come to us. I love her, Peeve.
Does she know that?
She's gonna find out.
Let him have it! Hand over the rockets!
The Rocketeer.
Go get him, kid.
All right, Nick. The Rocketeer.
Tyson.
You've been wanting to do this one for a while, Nick.
I have. It's only because I've wanted to watch The Rocketeer.
Yeah, I've had a couple of shows like that where I've had a hankering to watch a movie, and so I thought, well, why don't we fucking do it on the show? And so it just gives us that excuse to watch it because I'm keen to watch it. I'm with you. I was keen to watch this. I saw it pop up on Disney Plus. Obviously, it was there from day one, but it was one of the ones that I'd forgotten about, saw it there on Disney Plus and was like, oh, fuck yeah, I'd love to watch The Rocketeer again. So was pretty happy to watch it again. But Nick, you were saying that this was a big childhood film for you.
Yeah, I watched this a lot. This was coupled with Who Framed Roger Rabbit, kind of that 30s, 30s kind of feel.
Dick Tracy probably would have fit nicely in there as well.
Dick Tracy, that's the one. Yeah. So I watched this a fair bit, and in rewatching it, like, I watch it any day of the week. It is so easily digestible, just a great time, adventure, and just family fun. You know, lovely. I remember, though, like, just before I was about to watch it, because I have it on DVD, but I also was going to watch it on Disney Plus because of the bump up in resolution, obviously. But I remember, because the Rocketeer deals with Nazis and Disney's history with that particular situation. Right. And what they did with Splash when Splash came out, I was like, is there anything that Disney Plus has kind of edited a little, just a touch, to make it okay for Disney Plus to air? And they didn't. They haven't. They've edited quite a few things. I didn't realise. I don't have a definitive list. Online.
Yeah, right.
No.
So Splash, explain the Splash thing for the people at home. I think I know what you're talking about, but just explain to the people at home.
Absolutely. So I believe it was 83, 84?
Oh, I thought Splash? Yeah, no, you're probably right. I did think for a second think it was later than that, but I think no, because Tom Hanks, it was pre-Big, so
it was pre-Big, exactly.
Big is 88, I think, so it must have been 86 or 87.
Yeah. So Splash, for those of you playing the home game, or not, 84, Tyson.
It was 84.
Yeah. So Splash, for those of you playing at home, is played by Daryl Hannah and Tom Hanks. Daryl Hannah plays a mermaid. And there's a scene where she, obviously, I forget everything. I don't know anything about this movie. And
I remember the bit you're talking about, though.
Yeah.
Even, like, 10-year-old me was like,
really? Even like you were like, oh, hello.
Oh, hello.
So Daryl Hannah kisses Tom Hanks on the beach. I believe, is this the end of the movie I'm talking about? Is it the end?
I thought it was early in the movie, like mid? When this happens.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
So she goes back into the water and becomes a mermaid. I think she can transform tail to legs just on a whim, not like Ariel, the mermaid, who has to talk to Ursula. I'm pretty sure she could just come out of the water and go, hey, guess what? Legs.
I got legs now.
I could be massively wrong. For any Splash fans out there, sorry.
Any Splash super fans?
Super fans? So in that shot, though, she kisses him, dives back in the water, and she's completely starkers. Butt out now. And then when Disney Plus launched, they edited, because her hair is very, very long anyway. It reaches just above her butt. What they did is edit it so it goes past her butt, so you don't see any buttocks at all. And she jumps in the water, and it looks terrible.
Oh, really?
It looks terrible. Now, the articles that I read on the things that have been edited, I love that this is where the Rocketeer is stuck.
No, I like this conversation. I'm all about it.
Yeah, fair deal. Because Disney Plus hold their like Disney as a company stick to their ground, which is I'm really, really glad that they do, in things like Dumbo, Pocahontas, a lot of classic Disney cartoons that deal with very how we were as a world racially
Yep.
was very different to where we are now. They don't change anything in these movies, Tyson. They put a disclaimer at the start saying we have learned from this, and in changing it doesn't help people learn from what our mistakes and what we've done.
No.
Which I'm really glad that they've done that.
It's the best way to do it.
Exactly. The box set, I've talked about this before, the Warner Brothers Looney Tunes box set that I have does the same thing. And I'm really glad that they did that as well, because a lot of early Warner Brothers cartoons is really, like, not for kids.
Yeah, for sure.
I just find it interesting that we have things now where it can tell you whether the movie has nudity in it or not. Everyone has a butt. Like, you're not getting, it's not full frontal nudity. You're not getting, shot of Daryl Hannah's vagine or anything like that. It's a butt. Yeah. Like, come on, let's grow up.
And like, yes, and this is the thing, and this is where this movie sits as well. This movie to bring it on back to Rocketeer. So Disney have caught themselves in a really interesting predicament at the moment, because they have Disney Plus, which is their exclusive streaming channel, but for a great deal of the 90s, they released movies through their Touchstone and Buena Vista labels.
Yes.
And these were the movies that were slightly more adult orientated.
Yeah.
That would push your PG-13 which is the M rating for us here, and even into your MAs very occasionally, but very rarely.
Yeah.
And so, for instance, I'll talk about a movie. I actually did talk about this movie a couple of weeks ago, but think about Three Men and a Baby, which is all about cocaine and dudes like having sex with just all the women and that kind of stuff. And that's a Disney movie. That they have to embrace that, because that was part of their Touchstone Pictures label. So you can't, if you kind of can't have your cake and eat it too in this regard. I think
exactly.
It's kind of like just sense. Embrace the fact that we have these movies that are slightly more adult orientated, and if people want to watch Splash, they should just be able to see Splash. I mean, I know it's not a big deal, and I know, like, I'm not like, you don't. Because really, at the end of the day, whether or not you see a butt or not is not important. But what is important is that it's like a fine line. Where do you stop? Are we going to start removing the swear words from the script? Are we going to start removing the content? So something like 3 Men and a Baby becomes a 40-minute movie because they just take out the whole cocaine subplot. And it becomes just...
That'd be quite interesting.
Yeah, a movie about three guys hanging out with a baby. And suddenly there's not much of a movie left anymore, because that's
and
half
credits
the plot.
roll, and we're...
Exactly. So it's a slippery slope, and I'm like, where does it stop? Where do we call that off?
Yeah, but, it's a bit ridiculous.
Funny with this movie, though...
This movie...
Well, because it was originally going to be Touchstone. It was going to be part of that label, apparently, I read.
Right.
And then it became a Disney property, because they were like, ching ching... Comic books, kids love comic books. We can make Happy Meal toys, yada, yada, yada.
We can, yes. Did you watch, just going back real quick, you watched 3 Men and a Baby on Disney Plus?
Yes, I did.
Yeah, right, there you go.
I didn't notice any changes, but I hadn't seen it in a very long time. Was that on the list? Was there any...
I think it was mentioned, but only it was mentioned because of what you talked about. The fact that one of the main story plots is about cocaine.
Yeah.
Like, and that wasn't changed. So,
there's going to be...
There's a few things that changed. The biggest one to me, which I totally forgot about, was, remember it's in the credits rolling of Toy Story 2, Stinky Pete, the prospector.
Yeah.
Do you remember, played by Kelsey Grammer? There's a scene where the camera, like at the end credits, this is totally fucking off topic. Sorry, gents, ladies and gentlemen, we haven't got to Rocketeer at all.
We'll get there. We'll get there.
The camera's the pans, and you see the prospector talking to two Barbie dolls.
That's right.
And he's being a little
is he cracking onto somebody? Yeah.
Yeah, he's a sleazebag. He's a mass sleaze. They cut that out, just edited the whole thing.
Right.
Yeah. I was like, okay, yeah.
No, fair enough.
Sure.
That's fine.
Yeah, all right. But where's the line? But yeah, the Rocketeer.
But the Rocketeer. So the Rocketeer, though, I think juggles this line really. It's an interesting experiment, because so you've watched this a lot. I saw this. I have really clear memories of seeing this at the cinemas, but I wonder if I'd made that up. It's one of those ones where I'm like, I feel like Dad took me to see the Rocketeer, but I can't be 100% certain. Nice. But I know that I did not watch this much as a kid, because I found it kind of boring as a kid.
Right. I understand that. It would be a little boring because there's not much rocketeering.
No, and I think that was the thing.
Bit, but not that much.
I think I used to be like, yeah but come on, where's the fucking Rocketeer?
Yeah, where's the Rocketeer doing things?
Exactly. Fly around and do weird stuff. And I was in no way capable of appreciating the real kind of like old school throwback serial nature of it all. Like that, you know, that's irrelevant to me as a 10-year-old kid. You know what I mean? Like, I don't give a fuck. I just want to see him flying around beating up Nazis.
Shooting things. Yeah. Bring it on.
And so all the things that I think really worked in this viewing were things that I just had no interest in as a kid. And so I can honestly say I probably hadn't seen this movie in 25 years. And
oh, nice.
Yeah.
Almost a fresh watch.
So it was pretty much a fresh watch. I remembered little moments here and there. I was like, ooh. Like I remembered, what's his name? Vilma?
Sinclair?
No, the big, ugly, tall dude.
Oh, the massive dude. I don't know what his name is. I just call him Frankenstein.
Yeah, the Frankenstein dude. Like when he popped up, it was like all of a sudden my brain just went, oh yes, remember this face that you've put down into the bottom of your safe compartment?
Yeah.
Here it is again.
Yeah. Remember him?
Yeah. And I remembered the Zeppelin. I remembered the Zeppelin.
Oh,
at the
Zeppelin.
End. Yeah, they were like the real clear memories in my head. But
massive things.
Other than that, yeah, it was pretty much a fresh watch. And I got to say, Nick, I fucking loved this movie. I was really, really into it.
Yeah.
I think it's great. I think it's really great.
How good is it?
Yeah.
It's really good. Yeah. I knew you'd like it. I was like, I was hoping this was kind of a fresh watch for you because I knew that this is very much our type of film. Like the setting, the fact that it's got, you know, it ticks all the boxes for great adventure. You've got gangsters, you've got Nazis, you've got
it's a bit of a kitchen sink, really, of adventure plot points.
Yeah, you've got a superhero in there as well, but this is not, and this was my favorite. This is kind of my favorite thing about the Rocketeer is that he's not Captain America or anything like that. This is just a guy who found a rocket pack who's trying to, number one, save his girlfriend, and number two, make a little money on the side. And to be honest, he wants to give the rocket pack back.
He's just living the American dream. This guy,
he's not out to exactly. He's not out there to fight justice in the American way. He's just trying to
make a little coin.
Make it just a touch, a little coin, and maybe make it to dinner on time.
That's it. He wants to be able to take his girl to see a James Cagney movie, and I mean, don't we all? Don't we all, Nick?
Who doesn't love Cagney? Fuck, that's gold. But yeah, like the setting, gangsters, Nazis, a superhero rocket man, and big band jazz club. Tyson.
Oh shit!
Tell me you're not in.
Well, and like so, almost exclusively Cole Porter tunes as well, which I was like, okay. You've got me now. You got me. You basically just like as a little side note,
I'm done.
I would aside from Sondheim, I would say Cole Porter is probably my favorite of the theater composers. Because he nobody writes a melody like Cole Porter. There is just it is a work of art. He is like the way the Beatles makes a song that it's so simple but so beautiful, and you're just like, how the fuck did they figure that out? Because it's just so easy. Yeah. That's like Cole Porter. He just writes melodies. You're just like, oh man. So good. And so when in that bar when the guys were basically exclusively playing Cole Porter while there was this like spy espionage thing, but this like kind of like old school Hollywood throwback as well, because it's all like they're all actors, and W.C. Fields comes in and it's like, oh hey there, what's the bad guy's name? Vincent or something?
Sinclair. What's his first name?
No, that's
Claude Sinclair?
No, it's shit, hang on, I'll look it up. Hang on. What are we doing here?
Neville Sinclair. Yeah,
W.C. Fields is like, oh, hello, Neville. How are you today?
Hello, Neville.
And I was just like, oh, W.C. Fields, welcome, and all that kind of stuff. And you're just like, this is amazing. It's like such a throwback to like, that's the same way something like Hail Caesar, like when you're watching Hail Caesar and you're just relishing in that old Hollywood kind of style and all the behind the scenes stuff. It was that, but then also with gangsters and Nazis, and you're just like,
exactly.
How can this movie have so much stuff in it yet work so well?
How do we not have a sequel to The Rocketeer?
Well,
like the amount of stuff that I looked up today, I was like, wow, a lot of people want a sequel to this thing. Like,
but he also, the thing of, yes, okay, I see. There would be no reason why there was sequel potential there. But for me, the fact that the Rocketeer is not the point of this movie, you know what? It's
it's not.
Him being the Rocketeer is almost like a side story to all the...
and that's why I love it.
Yeah.
Like all the other shenanigans.
Like it's his character is the hero, not the jetpack that he has. It's kind of like I'm trying to think of a good example, but he's more in line with the Indiana Jones kind of style of hero for me, where it's not about what he has, it's about his strength of character. And so if he had a jetpack, or if he had a fucking, I don't know, invisible car, or like a boat plane, a plane that also was a boat, whatever he had. He's awesome. It's not about exactly. I'm like, they exist. They're pretty common. I actually think. I don't know what I was thinking about that. Guys, it's a plane, but it's also a boat.
It's also, hey guys, it's a boat as well.
Yeah, you mean like all planes? I think I meant to say like a submarine plane. That was kind of what I was thinking. Yeah.
That's where you were going.
Yeah.
That's where
you know where I'm at. But that's it's more about him and what cool gadgets he would have. He's like MacGyver, basically, is what I'm saying.
Exactly.
Yes,
MacGyver, the amazing guy of the 80s. Why haven't they remade MacGyver?
They did. They remade the series. Yeah.
Did they really? With him?
No, of course not.
What was the guy who played
Richard Dean
MacGyver's
Anderson.
name? Jesus, how do you know that?
Because he's the best.
How do you know that?
And also
Stargate. Richard Dean Anderson. Right, obviously.
Yeah, no, they remade it, and the guy that's in it, the guy that plays MacGyver, was the guy that plays Havoc in X-Men First Class. The blonde kid. I think he's the MacGyver in the remake series.
Damn.
I don't think it was received well.
I'm going to watch some.
Just watch the old one. It's so good.
Oh, I love it. I remember watching an episode because when I was a kid, like it was at this point where I kind of knew MacGyver's shtick. Like I think he took something, I think because of the movies that I watched referenced
you
MacGyver.
Mean the Simpsons referenced MacGyver all the time.
The Simpsons did, but also there were movies where he put something together and it was Airheads. That's what it was.
Oh, yes.
They were trying to get in the thing, and he's like, "What are you doing, MacGyver?" And I knew from that, I was like, "Oh, MacGyver's kind of a funny thing."
That's so good.
Anyway, watched an episode, and he actually made a gun out of a VCR and a hairdryer, and I was like, "Oh fuck, they weren't lying.
Yeah.
That literally is true." I was like, "Wow,
he's the best." Where was I going with this? So yes,
Cliff, Jenny, and Neville Sinclair.
What was his? I want to know what his full name was.
Clifford.
Cliff. Why does it just say Cliff in IMDb? He had an actual full name, and it was great.
He did. Cliff.
Yeah, so he's obviously not MacGyver-esque, but
Secord.
Clifford Secord. There you go. Thank you. But I honestly think that it's not about the pack. That just happens to be an extension of his character. He just seemed like I could just see his further adventures, and it would be really interesting. But having said that, how good is this suit though? Like, how good is his costume? Oh,
it's mint. It's the jacket that does it for me.
I love that jacket.
Double-breasted. Like, you can still get them. That's just the pilot's jacket from that time. You can get one made, but yeah, it's so good. And the helmet is so art decor. Like, it's fucking great.
Yeah, it's so really well designed. Everything suits.
It has a little.
Sorry, you go.
Go on. It has a little bit of a steampunk feel, but not too much.
Yeah, I was going to say it reminds me of that, and it's a really clear kind of 30s sci-fi feel, which you think of things like Day the Earth Stood Still and even like Sky Captain and stuff like that.
Yeah.
There's this
even
weird
Iron Giant to some
Iron Giant, 100%.
Yeah.
There's just a really distinctive look about it, and it's so well recreated in this. Like that costume just wouldn't work in a contemporary.
No.
In a contemporary way.
No,
film.
Of course not. No.
But in this, it's so perfect. And he just looks so badass flying around. Like,
he looks so good. But even like Cliff in like, he is that actor so good. We this is our second movie with him in it because he was in Dracula.
He was indeed.
So good.
And he's only been in like 3 movies in his whole life. So we're doing pretty well with old Billy Campbell.
Like even Billy Campbell as Cliff, just normally, like when he goes out on a date in his like polo jumper, kind of rolled up pilot type deal, I'm like, you're just a heartthrob.
He can dress, that boy.
You look good. Like,
I'd totally rock what he's wearing if I could. If I could pull it off, I'd be all over it.
I just want his hair. That's all.
His hair is
I'll be
so
happy.
good.
It's just immaculate. just absolutely immaculate.
It's like Joey Tribbiani's season 1 Friends hair. That's what it is.
Yes, he takes the hood, like the Rocketeer helmet off, and his hair just falls as it does, like perfectly.
Yeah.
I was like, oh man,
this is a little Billy Campbell love-in, apparently.
Yeah. Oh, please. I had a little moment to... No, I'm kidding.
Little man crush. It's all right.
Man crush. It was lovely. What was I going to say? Damn it. No, it's gone. Moving on. The other thing as well.
Yes, very good.
All over the shop.
No, it's fine. I like it.
I knew in rewatching this, because I was a big fan of The Labyrinth. The Labyrinth got kind of more of a rotation for me as a child, whereas this kind of moved on, and I found out that Jennifer Connolly is just to die for in this movie. Like, absolutely to die for.
She is a vision.
She is insane. She's so
well,
good
she's she's like she stepped out of a 1930s film. Like it is perfection. And I obviously wouldn't have put 2 and 2 together when I saw it initially, because I probably hadn't seen Labyrinth by that point or anything like that.
Yeah.
But so I don't really know wouldn't have known who Jennifer Connelly is. But now, going back and watching, I was actually a little bit, I'd forgotten, and she popped up and I was like, oh yeah, of course, Jennifer Connelly's in this. And it makes you realize, like, you look at things like Dark City, it makes you appreciate that even more, because you go, oh, it's because you probably watched this and went, oh, she's actually like, looks like she's from the 1930s. Let's put her in this movie as well in a similar role.
Absolutely,
because she's just you're right. She's got the hair, she's got the face, the look. It's just so authentic, and
exactly.
You know, she just kind of she shocks you sometimes. Like you see her on screen, you're just kind of like, whew.
Exactly.
I'm a little bit speechless.
And she's
all of a
not
sudden.
like, and her character as well is very much of that type of elk that doesn't. She's not a damsel in distress, even though unfortunately that is the role
they
that
play
she's
it,
playing
but she
in this a little bit, but only for the last end bit. Like throughout the entire movie, she's more than capable of doing anything else. She's got her career. She knows what she's doing. She's got a trajectory. She's dating Cliff, but. You know, she's headstrong. She's great. She reminds me of kind of Tess Trueheart in Dick Tracy. Like, she would hands down just give you a rap on the jaw, kind of if you kind of got out of line, sort of thing. You'd expect that from her.
She basically walks off on him once, you know, because he doesn't have faith in her career, and she's just like, okay, see you, bye. She
wasn't rescued. She wasn't rescued from Neville Sinclair. No. She took care of her own. She could have got out, but she wanted to find out what was going on.
That's it, man. She did all the hard work. She just also happened to stumble across the secret room and kind of got a bit caught up looking at Nazi blueprints. And you know what? Who wouldn't? I say. I feel like if I found a secret room and I saw Nazi blueprints, I'd be in there for a little while. Also, looking.
I only have. I think it's 2 things that were not questionable that I was like, oh, that kind of maybe doesn't sit well with me. And that was the first one. The fact that she gets out of that room and then walks into a room and just starts feeling for fake books. I'm like, do you know that there's a secret area here?
Yeah, didn't you see? She saw him, Neville, doing the book trick.
Oh, did I miss that part?
You might have missed it. So when she first wakes up in the bed, she wakes up before he gets there, and she has a little wander around, and she sees him at the bookshelf going with one of the books.
Right.
And she sees the door.
Didn't see that. Oh, well, that doesn't matter then. I've only got 1 then.
Time to give us another half star, Nicholas.
That's nice. That's another half star there. No, I'm kidding. No, the other one, since I've mentioned it, the other one was that, and this is not a blemish on this fucking film at all. Like, it was 1991. Like, when Cliff is using the rocket pack and the blue screen, I'm pretty sure green screen wasn't invented. It was still blue screen at this point. So it looks very superimposed.
Yeah, of course.
It doesn't look great, but that kind of... I don't count that. Like,
no, and we've got to be pretty.
Fine.
We've got to be pretty forgiving of that stuff.
Exactly.
I think they used it as sparingly as they could. I was looking at moments where they chose to use it as opposed to when they didn't. And like, for instance, when he's flying around in the nightclub, that seems to all be pretty practical. And
that
so
looks
that was
real.
like wire
It looks
work
like
and stuff like that.
yeah.
So I'm like, all right, cool. You could have chosen to use it here, but you didn't. And I'm happy to see that. When it's him flying like 1,000,000 miles an hour in the sky or over a cornfield, you're kind of like, all right, cool. I expect it. We've kind of got to do it. It reminded me a lot of how of the Superman flying stuff. I think they actually did a lot of similar techniques. Because you could just it gave me real strong flashes to like Superman 3, Superman 4 flying. Where the technology had started to get a little bit better, but was still not there.
And they
yet.
were trying things, but still not there. Yeah. I like it.
But yeah, so I'm with you. Like as much as you could potentially. And I think this is not a movie, like, you can't show this to kids now and be like, guys, I think you're going to love The Rocketeer. I think its time has passed. It is now for it's now for our generation, maybe the generation below us, but you're not going to show a 10-year-old kid The Rocketeer now. I just don't think it's going to fly.
You don't reckon?
No, because even the older, even the 1930s stuff there's no point of reference. Like, that's almost 100 years ago, Nicholas.
Oh, that makes me sad.
Isn't that ridiculous?
It is. That's bizarre.
And so...
I don't know. Talk to me in 7 years when I show Clark The Rocketeer on his 10th birthday. And
hey, look, if he loved it, he might love it. He might love it.
He's not going to care. He's going to go, Dad, have a look at this app that I can now see in my Apple glasses.
I was about to say, yeah, okay, cool. You know, I can just go 3D jetpack myself around Melbourne. So I'm going to go do that. And Dad, you can watch your fun little movie, all right?
Oh, damn it. That's so true. He's going to... Oh, seriously? All right. Well, fine.
Story. It's going to be the strength of storytelling that's going to make a lot of this stuff have a legacy. Something like Back to the Future, probably always going to be a good movie because it's not so much about the gimmick. It's about the characters. It's about the dialogue. It's all that stuff. And I think the characters and dialogue in this are very strong, but still, I think the gimmick is even less impressive. Like. Because it is just
DeLorean.
Yeah, exactly. It is just a jetpack
that ends up flying in the second one and then turning onto a train track in the third. Like, yeah.
And there were even moments when I was watching it today where I was kind of like, yeah, so he can only fly. Like, so is he really that much help? Like, you know,
exactly. Can't really do anything else.
You can't really do much else. I mean, it gets you from A to B pretty quickly, and I reckon that's pretty good. And yeah, look, he can get up on the Zeppelin like nobody else could have just flown up on the Zeppelin. But you don't often hear about superheroes that can only fly. Like, flying is usually like the extra one. You know what I mean?
Yeah. That's why exactly. That's why Angel in the X-Men, who has wings, like, cool, Angel, what can you do? I can fly. That's rad. Anything else? Anything else? Super strength? Can you pick something up and then drop it on someone as you fly?
Well, also I can kick the shit out of people.
Look, I can't do that, but I can fly. You know, I can swoop them like a magpie. Okay,
well, that's what happened in the movies though, is because they were like, well, he's useless. We got to make it in X-Men 2, they don't even make him a main character. They just make him like a sad story of a kid trying to cut off the wings.
No, that was 3. That was X-Men 3.
3. Apologies. And then and in Apocalypse, they give him like metal wings so that he can cut shit up with them.
Because it goes to 4 horsemen. Yeah.
Because flying is not enough.
Watch that again. But in saying that, this still pulls it off. Like, he gets a gun in the end, a little bit of gun. You know what I did love? I love the fact that Cliff is the type of protagonist that, especially like there's the FBI in this, he just will lay someone out.
He'll just deck a
full haymaker. I don't care who you are. You work for the FBI. I will punch you in the jaw as hard as I can.
Punch you square in the mouth if you say something bad that I'm not into.
He did it twice to that FBI agent, the same FBI agent. I was like, dude, you are just loving hitting him. I love that.
Yeah.
God,
he cops it hard.
It was really good.
Yeah, and look, and I really enjoyed Billy Campbell's performance. I thought it was really, he's super charming, but super relaxed too. Like, just really easygoing, affable, like, just very, very likable character. And without that kind of hero bravado either. Like, he wasn't like, don't get me wrong,
wasn't smug about it.
I love Indiana Jones. Like, he's up there for one of my favorite movie characters. But he's also a smart ass. You know what I mean? That's his thing. He's a smart ass. He's got that fucking grin that he's got when shit
because he's a
goes his way.
professor as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But Billy Campbell didn't have that. He didn't have any of that kind of self-awareness, and so he became really endearing in that very, very sincere way. And I quite appreciated that because we don't see a lot of that anymore. This movie completely lacks any cynicism. It is 100% like honest and very wears its heart on its sleeve. And I really liked that. It was nice to see because you don't see that very often anymore.
It's very true. Going back to what you were saying about things like Back to the Future, who have we remember them for their characters, not their gimmick. I agree with you 100%. Like the characters in this, I felt like you knew them already. Like the mum and pup diner.
Yeah. You
felt like you were like, oh, I've seen this episode. I've seen them where they were here before, things like that. The boys who work on the runway with, is it Pete? What's Alan Arkin's name? PV?
PV.
Like
the guitar amps.
So, like, you feel like you've known those guys for ages. They've all got everyone's back. Like, when the mobsters come in and go, hey, does anyone know Cliff Secord? Everyone knows already that they're like, no, I haven't seen him. Don't know what you're talking about kind of thing. Like, everyone, sure. There's no discussion. There's no weak link or anything like that. Like, it was just great. Even with, what was his name? The guy who's trying to go up in the plane and Malcolm, played by Eddie Jones, go up and help Cliff out because he felt like he hurt Jenny's feelings or maybe caused them to have a fight previously. Like that was so great and so warming and lovely. Like it was so good.
It's a real old down home. What is it? What's the saying? Home down.
Old down home. Home down.
But it's
Homeward
basically
bound.
Sure. The Incredible Journey. No, but it's got that real sense of like everybody's the kind of guy that you meet at the corner store and share a story with. And that's, hometown Americana, very,
hometown.
And that's, as much as that's not really a thing, and I don't think it ever was a thing, and it was just something that movies told us was a thing, I still really love it because, it gives you this kind of, it just gives you the warm feelings. So when you see them all, sticking up for each other, these people that are in no way heroic, standing up to these gangsters, you kind of, it just gives you that nice feeling of like, oh, isn't it nice? Community and all that kind of sense. People caring about each other and looking out for each other.
It is. Even when Cliff is talking to the head of the mob, I forget that guy's name. He plays
Paul Savino.
Paul Savino, thank you. I feel like he knows him around, like he's seen him around town. Oh, I know who that is.
Oh, yeah, I get you.
I can just call him by name at the end and go, hey, how do you feel like working for a Nazi? And that's where he kind of has the courage to kind of say that to him.
Yeah, for sure.
Instead of being intimidated by the gangster, he's fine to call him out. Like, it just worked well.
Can we talk about how funny this movie is in that at the end, all the people just team up because fuck Nazis?
Please. If you're gonna get everyone together, how are you gonna get them together? You're gonna fuck up some Nazis. Let's win together.
Exactly. If you ever had to find a common enemy, it's like, oh damn, these gangsters, they've been shooting people and threatening their lives and being real scumbags. But it's like when the Nazis are involved, everybody's mate because it's just like you know what,
we're all friends here.
We're all friends here if we're killing Nazis together. I loved it. It was so. I just didn't expect it at all. The way he just kind of goes, so well, yeah, I'm basically saying I'm a scumbag, but I'm an American scumbag. So
exactly, yeah. At least I may be a weasel, but I'm still trying to make a living. But I still hate Nazis.
Exactly.
Shit, I'm not an idiot.
I'm not an idiot. Exactly. I'm not some kind of monster. Oh, jeez, that made me laugh a lot. Good. I liked it a lot.
So good. Let's talk about the Nazi. Neville Sinclair,
played Timothy by Dalton.
I think this is Timothy Dalton's my favorite Timothy Dalton.
I
just watched his Bonds. Like he was good as Bond. I really quite enjoyed him as Bond.
Yeah.
But like he is like when he's being on the movie set, the Errol Flynn type deal, like really hamming it up and really knowing his place and things like that. He's quite I don't know about his house, though. His house is fucking questionable.
Well, I don't understand the choice of architecture and that like everything's like stone pillars. I'm like,
yeah, but why is it sunk in? But only like a little bit, not really that much. And yeah, it was weird.
It doesn't look like a comfortable house to live in at all.
But he looked great, like especially with a thin mustache, like.
Speaking of, like Jennifer Connolly, who is like she stepped straight out of a 30s film noir. He does, like they did a really good job, and I wouldn't have thought that of Timothy Dalton at first, but he is such a great look for that as well.
Yeah,
like
he really does.
Think of like Treat Williams in The Phantom, who is playing like a similar role, I think. Treat Williams is great in The Phantom, don't get me wrong, but he doesn't look as
he doesn't
authentic.
Look that part as exactly.
Like this,
like the same as no, it's gone. What were you going to say?
I was just saying, like he just looks like he stepped out of a swashbuckling 1930s adventure, a black and white adventure film. And I never would have thought that of Timothy Dalton for some reason. Yeah. But when you see him in that context, you go, oh yeah, of course you are. You're straight out of it.
Very similar to him in kind of Hot Fuzz as well. That was a modern version of this role.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Well, it just proves that he plays villains quite well, like slippery, slimy villains. He's got an infectious evil laugh, Timothy Dalton. I really enjoy it.
Who is your favorite actor to play a villain, Tyson?
That is
Donald Sutherland. Because Donald plays it well as well.
Donald Sutherland. It's funny that you just brought that out because I might be talking about something a bit later today.
Nice.
What an odd choice, though. Of all the people in the world, you decided Donald Sutherland is the guy.
He plays a villain all the time.
Yeah, he's good.
He's so good.
I'll pay that. He's really good.
Very good.
I can't think at the moment because I'm just so like way too many options.
Do you know who else? Brian Cox. He plays a prick. You know what I like? I don't like a villain. I like a prick.
Yeah,
I like someone who really plays an asshole. Like
someone that's easy to hate.
Asshole. Yeah.
William Atherton. William Atherton's easy to hate.
Oh, he's good. Easy to hate. Yeah. That's always good.
It's true. This man has no dick. But yeah, I really like Timothy Dalton in this. I think it's because we're surrounded by really great actors in this, which is, I think, really fun. Lots of great character actors. Lots of every face that pops up is a that guy, or that girl.
Yeah,
you kind of
that's true.
I know them from that thing. That thing.
Yeah.
And that's really, that it's cast well in those circumstances. So, but to see someone like Timothy Dalton, really, I think he's the one that kind of ties it all together because you believe him as the movie star, you believe him as the villain, you believe him as the romance.
Yep.
Like the romancer of Jennifer Connolly.
Of Jenny, yeah.
Like, you believe it. You're watching him pull the moves and you're like, yeah, damn, go.
Yeah.
Get in
He's
there.
Pretty nice. Even with the wig on. Like, with the wig on, with his big curly wig, I was like, that actually suits you quite
surprisingly,
well.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I mean.
I thought it was weird that the guy that he was sword fighting gets stabbed. Like,
that kind of came out of nowhere, didn't it?
That was kind of strange. I was like, hang on a minute. Why are you not playing with why are you not playing with prop swords?
Yeah.
Like, why is there not a ball on the end of your fucking sword?
What benefit to the story did it have? I'm sure they would have stopped filming anyway because some dude just knocked over part of the set. Like, everyone's going to take 5, I'm sure.
Exactly. And it wasn't as if he had a vendetta against him or wanted to show how powerful he was.
No.
He actually genuinely was concerned. He was like, "Oh, Charlie, I'm so sorry."
He did seem genuinely concerned, didn't he?
He was like, and was like, "Margaret, go get my car. We'll take him in my car because an ambulance will be too slow. Yeah. George, you drive, and we'll wrap him up in this." And I was like, What was the point of that?
And by that point, we're aware that he's the villain anyway, so it's not like you have to try and keep that a secret from us.
Yeah.
It is a very strange moment. I did think that was very odd. It passes by quick enough that it doesn't really faze me because the story goes on. But just as you brought it up then, I was like, that is very odd. Because even the whole, like, they need to pretend to fire, or they need to fire Jennifer Connolly so that they can, Jenny.
Yeah.
Excuse me, so that he can go and say, no, you're not fired, blah, 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 blah. I'm pretty sure, though, the fact that her boyfriend came and knocked over the set is enough to say, you're out of here.
You're fired.
You're fired. It didn't need to cause the stabbing of the supporting actor.
Exactly, yeah.
Oh, I love it. I do love all the old Hollywood stuff. It's really fun. It reminds me of something like... I love watching all the old movie stuff in like the Majestic. You know, when you're watching,
oh yeah,
all the pirate swashbuckling adventures and stuff in that. I really enjoy it, and it gave me those vibes.
Can you stream the Majestic? That is, I haven't watched that since it got released.
I think you can. Because I tried to watch it not that long ago, and I'm a huge fan of the Majestic, but for some reason I got about halfway through it that night and I was sleepy.
Yeah, right.
But it's actually a perfect movie to fall asleep to because it's so.
It is very much
quiet and chilled.
What is Sun Next? Is that a new streaming service?
Sun.
Have you heard of
Next?
Sun Next? Yeah.
Is that come up on Just Watch?
Yeah, Sun Sun NXT. I'm guessing that
sounds super dodgy.
It sounds very dodge. No, you cannot stream it.
Well, that's a bummer.
Okay, that's a bit of a shame. What is this? What else was I going to say? How was the Howard Hughes for you, Tyson? The Howard Hughes moments in the movie. I really enjoyed. It was a little, just a touch too much. We got this from a man died to get us this short film, which is not a short film; it's a cartoon. and I was like, at least make it a short film.
Well, that's when I suddenly remembered that I was watching a Disney movie. Like all of a sudden, it hit me like a ton of bricks. I was like, we're going to show some really scary Nazi propaganda. Oh no, let's make it a cartoon because guys, I got kids here.
Nazi propaganda.
So,
yeah, exactly. We got kids here.
Guys, we got kids here. Fuck.
We got kids here. Jesus, you can't fucking show this shit.
Yeah, so I understand why they did it. It is a bit strange because they're all looking at it with these like looks of like, oh my god, flying Nazis. But it's actually like just looks like a pretty fun cartoon, you know, like a fun action cartoon.
I'd watch it.
Yeah,
exactly.
I'd watch the shit out of that. Flying Nazis, are you kidding me? That sounds amazing.
But it was quite good. I did like it. It was quite good.
We haven't even talked about Terry O'Quinn as Howard Hawks. How good's he?
Howard Hughes, yeah.
Sorry, Howard Hughes.
So good. So good.
Who's Howard Hawks?
Plays it to a T. John Hawkes.
Who's Howard Hawks?
No, he does. He plays it well. I actually prefer... do you like The Aviator? I don't actually like Leo's depiction of Howard Hughes.
I saw it in the year it came out in like lead up to Oscar stuff, and I remember really enjoying it, but always feeling a little bit kind of disconnected from Leo's performance.
Yeah, I thought he is a brilliant actor, but I think he was miscast in that. I think he should have got someone else. Yeah.
Sorry, Howard Hawks is a film director.
He's a film director.
Yeah, he's massively. He's like Gentlemen Prefer Blondes.
Oh right.
The original. Oh, like Red River, The Big Sleep. Yeah, he was a
old school.
He was a legit. So,
nice. Have you seen The Big Sleep? People, has to be. It's kind of an on the list movie because so many people reference The Big Sleep.
Yeah, well, it's one of the like ultimate noirs, isn't it? I've never seen it, so. But it's definitely on the list. God, you know what's going to be really exciting is when I finally decide I'm just going to watch all of those movies from 1920, 1930, and 1940s that I've been told I have to watch. I'm just going to sit down and I'm going to spend a year watching only those movies from those 3 decades.
Only those movies? What are you going to... It better be... Well, if you were going to do it in a year, it would be this year because nothing came out this year.
You're right. I've missed the boat on that. Generally, most of it's pretty hard to find. Like, Prime Video has a lot of old stuff, but it's garbage. It's stuff that I look at it and I see an actor I recognise and I go, oh yeah, cool, that sounds fun. And then I look it up on IMDb and it's like, oh, this is one of their like 17 studio films that they made for this studio on their contract. They whipped it out. It's garbage. Don't worry about it. And
but it could be good. You'll find some elements that you might like. Like if it's a title that you know that people have referenced and is quite good. If it's something really shit, then
I think I want to do all of those classic noirs. Basically, there's the list. There'll be a list online of like, hey, you want to watch movies from these eras? Watch these ones, and you'll get the right education.
Well, that's why I like Letterboxd. Like the fact that Letterboxd does lists, and you can look up people's and go, actually, I quite like this list, and then just save that to your profile, and then go,
that's it.
I've got a. Yeah.
That was our sponsored content for the week.
That was our plug
Letterboxd.com.
Letterboxd.
Nic, Tys and Videotape for 20% off a year-long pro membership.
Definitely not. That
Definitely
is
not a real thing.
That is
at
not
all.
a real thing at all.
But Letterboxd, get on the phone because this could be a thing.
This could be huge.
It could be. What else do we have to say about Rocketeer?
Well, I've only got
Nicholas?
a little bit of the end. I'm done with my notes. Tyson, do you have anything?
I didn't take any notes, to be honest, because I sat down to
You were too
write
busy
notes.
enjoying.
And then, I realised that I'm not going to have much to talk about in as far as, like, specific kind of moments. It wasn't really about that. It was about this overall experience. And so I was like, I might make a few notes at the end, and then I just didn't. I found it to be a really overall experience, not moment to moment experience, which I was like, wow, this movie's really kind of getting me in that zone. I really appreciated it. I have a feeling I know what your note is going to be towards the end, and I'm excited to hear you say it.
Oh, okay. Okay. I really... The fact that this movie finished credit rolls with the gang all together and... What was the little girl's name? Patty. The little girl Patty was running around with a Rocketeer box on her back.
Oh, yeah,
that she had made and was like, I'm the Rocketeer, I'm going again. Like, brilliant.
Beautiful.
Like, it could not have finished a better way. And knowing that Joe Johnston, when they were looking at who was going to direct Captain America: The First Avenger, of course they went to Joe Johnston because he made the Rocketeer.
Oh, man,
like, if you watch this and then watch The First Avenger... It makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
It makes absolute sense.
He captures that era, and look, obviously, it's not like I know that era very well. Neither of us were anywhere near being alive.
Of course not.
But he suggests that era so well. Like, I was comparing this in my head to movies like The Shadow and Phantom as I was watching it, and they're both movies I enjoy. But there is something about this era that they don't capture as well as this. Yeah?
Yeah, right.
This is on par with, like, Indiana Jones for me as far as capturing that era. It just does it so well, so effortlessly. It's not about, hey, guys, look at this, look at this 1930s car. Have you figured out where we are yet? Like, it's not forcing you to kind of be like always aware of it. It just lives in that world and does it so effectively that you just kind of forget.
It's not a thing.
And also, I was going to say a big part of what I think helps with that is the score. I think the score is excellent. It feels so old school and just so Disney, but really old school Disney. I think is it Horner? Was it Horner? I can't remember.
I don't know. I was going to ask you because when I watched it, I didn't really notice the score. Not that you should, because that's the point. But it wasn't a thing for me. It was kind of just a Disney wash.
It was
like
James
it wasn't
Horner.
like a theme or anything like that. Do you know what I mean?
No, there is a theme in there, and I do want to have a proper listen to it because I was hearing it was a bit of a you're right. It was a bit of a mixture of just like setting music where it was just adding to the scenery, but there was definitely a Rocketeer theme, and I was trying to pick it out, and I was like, I need to go back and have a proper listen to it because it never really drew attention to itself the way you're right, the way Indiana
like
Jones or Pirates or something like that does.
Exactly. So the fact that I can't hum it after the movie, then I'm like, oh, okay, well maybe I'll ask Tys, but maybe it wasn't. It
didn't feel super prominent,
you know what I mean?
but I think the music spends a lot of time. Yeah, I think the music spent a lot of time just trying to suggest era and help suggest era, and also it goes a long way towards this. What I was talking about, this kind of Disney love, where it's just like you can sit down with a movie like this and it just feels like warm in your belly. Like everyone's nice except for the bad guys, but even they're not that bad. Like, I mean. Yeah. Timothy Dalton is. But the fact that they make the gangsters kind of sympathetic, because it's like, well, they can't be too bad because in the end they're going to join the good side. So everybody is kind of okay. And isn't it fun? And we're going to all have some apple pie and, a cool milkshake down at the weird store that looks like it's built in like a fucking giant pineapple.
It's a dog.
It's a dog.
It's a big dog.
It looks like one of those, Australia has all these dumb things when you're on the freeway and you just, it's
giant,
it's
giant
the big wombat.
Giant banana.
It looks like it looks like the gift shop in one of those.
It does. And the fact that I really want to sit in the attic and just sit up there and just...
That was a cool fucking attic, wasn't it?
Read and fucking live there.
Yeah.
Such a cool attic.
I'll live up there.
The
Why
window
not?
was the eye of the dog. It was so good. It was so good. Yeah. I'm in.
But yeah, I think the music contributed a lot to that real warmth that the movie has. And yeah, it's really nice. And like I said, the use of Cole Porter and the swing stuff in that nightclub scene was excellent choice.
So good.
Excellent choice.
Good. That's it. That's it for me, Tyson.
I think that might be it for me as well. I can't think of anything else. I think we've suitably... I mean, it's been pretty surface level, but we've covered it okay, I guess.
We have.
It was funny, as I was watching it, I really enjoyed the experience, but I was like, there's not a lot to talk about here. Oh, do you know what I will talk about?
Yeah.
How do you feel about the Hollywood sign?
Oh,
because that might have been the one moment that made me giggle in maybe that's not a great choice way.
Yeah,
I was like, oh, that's a bit naff.
I remember as a kid, I distinctly remember as a kid going, "Oh, that's awesome! That's how they made it.
That's how it happened.
That's so cool." Now, as a 30-something, I'm like, that wasn't needed.
It was not needed.
I see you
do get the great line though, where he's like, "Oh, I'm going to miss Hollywood," and he's like, "Oh, what do you say? No, you won't.
No, you won't."
It's because he's going to.
That was cheap. That was cheap, and it's over. And my God,
tell you what, that line relies a lot on the fact that he's going to hit the Hollywood sign. Because if he doesn't hit the Hollywood sign, Billy Campbell's up in there. And he's like, "Damn, I should have said something else. I didn't."
He was so close.
That line would have worked a treat if he got.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
While Jennifer Connolly's going, "Can we get off?
This fucking
burning
thing?
Zeppelin,
exactly.
Dickhead."
It's time to go.
I have a question before we wrap.
Yeah.
Did that Zeppelin... When Zeppelins explode like they have, they don't take that long. You ignite a blimp that's filled with helium. It goes up so fast.
I wouldn't assume...
This thing was on a slow burn. This was a slow burn.
And I wouldn't assume it would burn like from one end to the other.
And it wouldn't explode like levels. Like boom,
exactly.
Boom, boom. I was like,
hey, look, man, movie
sure
magic.
This thing... Hey, man, movie magic. I'm all for that.
I appreciate beyond words how a piece of chewing gum is kind of what saves the day in this movie.
Beautiful.
Like stuff like that is what, and that is, it suits the character so well as well. Like that, when I see something like that, I'm just like, that's why this movie has long life to it. Why you can enjoy it on so many levels, because it's just so down to earth in its execution and its comedy and its character trace. I just that's really cute. I love that bit.
The fact that they referenced it at the start very early, and then used it as a story ploy, but it wasn't too much in your face.
No,
I was like, spot on, man.
No.
You know what you're doing,
and that's it. And in my head, when he goes, I'm going to have to give him the jetpack, and he passes it over. Until I saw the bit of gum on the thing, I didn't. You know, it wasn't like in my head I was going, oh, well, he's just going to peel the gum off because we've shown the gum so many times. Exactly. They hit it really, really well. It was really subtle. And until that moment where he just pulls it across and I'm like, here we go. That's right, because he talked about how it's going to explode if he doesn't. Like, that's just clever shit, man. That's really nice.
So good.
Rule of 3.
Watch The Rocketeer, people.
Yeah, watch it. I was a huge fan. Really, really ate it all up.
Loved it. Loved it.
And maybe because, maybe if you ever watched it as a kid and was like, it didn't connect to it fully, I think now's the time to go back. We're all a little bit more nostalgic. We're all a little bit more kind of wistful in our old age. I think it really hits a really sweet spot at the moment. And definitely recommend it. It's just on Disney Plus, so get into it.
It is.
What's our next segment, Nick? Should we do that?
Oh, sure. Let's do...
What did you watch this week?
Yeah. All right.
I got to look at my letterboxd.
Yeah, I haven't... what am I going to talk about? Did I... Oh... I don't really want to talk about any of these.
Okay, sure. That's worrying. Hey, Nick, I'm going to ask you the question. What was your Halloween viewing?
I watched Cabin in the Woods, Tyson.
Nice one. Good choice.
Yeah. I'd been wanting to watch it for a while, and Sam and I wanted to watch something, and Cabin in the Woods it was. She didn't last till the end, but she's seen it. But yeah, I got my fill, and god damn it, that's a good movie. Like, just... I don't know how if you love horror, you don't love this movie. It doesn't make any sense to me.
I think it's universally loved. I don't think anybody doesn't like it.
No, I know. There's a few people out there that actually don't like it.
Well, that's just crazy.
And especially in reading like the reviews on Letterboxd. The amount of times that people are like, this is the third time I've watched this movie and I've decided finally that I actually don't like it. I'm like, well, you're just a fucking idiot, aren't you?
I'll never appreciate... I just find that attitude so ridiculous. The guys, right. I'm just letting you all know that after my third watch, I've finally decided that I don't like this movie.
I don't like this movie.
I'm like, so... if you suspected this after watch 2, why not just leave it alone
and just leave it alone?
Yeah,
obviously there was
opposite,
something bringing back to it.
Exactly, the opposite. I'm all for. If after your second viewing you're like, oh, what happened? I think I'm liking this movie now. Watch it a third time to confirm it. But if you start to not like a movie, even if you think a movie's just okay, maybe watch it a second time, but don't then watch it a third time just to confirm your suspicions that you don't like it. Yeah. Anyway,
what are you bored? Watch something else.
Watch something else.
But yeah, short. Exactly. I love it. The ending as well is hands down my favorite. Like, I know that the stuff that I'm drawn to is the Bradley Whitford stuff, more so now than actually what they're doing in the cabin. But yeah, I love it. God, it's good. What did you watch, Tyson, for your Halloween
night? I had a first time watch. I watched Reanimator.
How was that? Look, I've always wanted to see that. Was that good?
Yeah, it's really fun, man. Really, really fun. Stuart Gordon directed that, and he directs the shit out of it. I think that was probably the thing that I found the most interesting about it is just how confidently directed it is. It's really great. It's like, it's gross. It's kind of a bit... So there's some nudity and stuff in it that I think is a little bit rough these days, and you're a bit like, oh, that was a bit tough to see.
Yep.
But I guess different times. It is still, if you can really kind of embrace the craziness of it. It's a H.P. Lovecraft story that feels like a lot more fun than usual Lovecraft.
Okay.
Which I think that was the thing that caught me, that I found the most interesting, is that the Lovecraftian vibe to it is definitely there. That real kind of like sense of hopelessness, and how it's just all on a track to disaster, and you can't ever get off the train. But at the same time, it's like got this real wicked sense of humor to it. Very interesting vibe. Really kind of gleeful in its violence and its grossness. And I had a really good time watching it. I think it really steps up a gear maybe about an hour into it. The last half an hour, 45 minutes, it's like at an 11 for the whole time, and you just go along with the ride. It's crazy. But yeah, so it's definitely worth a watch. It's just on Shudder at the moment, so I feel like I haven't made the most of my Shudder membership yet, so I wanted to watch something on Shudder for Halloween, and that was in there, so I thought, why the hell not?
Are you still free trialing, or have you
I bought the whole year worth because it was pretty cheap.
Nice.
It was only like 50 something bucks for a whole year, so I just thought I'd do it all at once so that I don't get stung bills, because that's what's killing me at the moment. I've figured out is that all of these subscription services come out on a monthly basis, and all of a sudden you look at your thing and you're like, shit, what have I spent $60 on? Oh, all my subscriptions. So when you can pay it for a whole year up front, I think I'm going to start doing that much more often.
Yeah, man. Yeah. As soon as Disney did that, I was like, well, that just makes sense, doesn't it? Like, why would I not do that? Nice one.
What else you got, Nick?
I'll talk about one more, because it's been on my list for so long.
Yeah.
And I finally got to watch it, which is I watched Videodrome.
Oh, wow.
Cronenberg.
I have never seen Videodrome.
Yeah, I haven't heard anything. I've asked a few people that normally watch kind of things that I watch, but no, I hadn't seen it. It was 100% an absolute mind fuck. Like,
so I've heard.
Yeah. At the end of it, I was like, what what the fuck was that? And it's not on the kind of it's not kind of on the I need to watch it again. I will watch it again because I own it, because I bought it knowing that a lot of people have spoken about Videodrome. It gets referenced, so I'll just buy it flat out because it was $6.98, Tyson, as well. Like $6.98. I just bought it. I was like, well, why don't it? I'm not going to not buy that.
Yeah,
it's just a waste.
Of course, why not?
So in watching it, so the premise is very much that of The Ring. So James Woods, who is kind of a movie producer or a TV show agent, likes the new up and coming, very raw reality TV show that is on the edge of a lot of violence, a lot of sex. Those things sell. So let's get that. He finds a channel. He back channels through this massive satellite that he has. This is the best bit because it's still 1983, right? And they're playing it as if it's the future, a la kind of Running Man type deal.
Okay, sure.
And he back channels a channel and just records. They can only record a little bit. And what happens is that he records something that is basically a snuff film, and they watch it, and that opens up his mind into seeing hallucinations of things that are happening to him. And the things that are happening to him are graphic. Are very graphic.
So I've
and I was like,
yes.
Like the middle of the way through, I was like, when is this going to be Cronenberg? Come on, give me some, Cronenberg. And then all of a sudden, his arm pops out of the skin, and I was like, what the fuck?
Here we are.
Oh my god!
Here he is. He's back.
He's back. It was definitely worth a watch. I'd recommend it to anyone just so that you can have a discussion about it. Like,
yeah, sure.
And this is kind of, I think, what people like about it is that you can discuss it and watch it, and maybe on your second or third watch find things in it that you can go, oh wow, maybe this is that. And it has kind of a say on where we are as a society with, like, 1983, you're really devouring television at that point. MTV is just about to hit.
Yeah.
And that can be translated into our phones nowadays. So the movie still holds up in that aspect, which is really, really good. So yeah, fucking Jesus Christ, Videodrome.
Nice.
I'm going to watch it again. Maybe in a year's time.
Yeah, sure. I feel like that happens with quite a few Cronenberg films. I feel like I watch it once and go, wow, that was really fucking cool and wild. And I definitely want to watch that again, but just not yet.
Yeah.
But then I find myself 6 months later, a year later, kind of itching to watch it again. Like if you said to me, do you want to watch History of Violence right now? I'd be like, yeah, shit, yeah. Like... Do you want to watch The Fly again? Yeah, let's watch The Fly again.
Yes, yes, I do.
It's just, there's something about, it's in the back of your head. You're just like, ooh, yeah, let's watch it.
Exactly.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
He has that power of seeping in that way.
This was my first ever viewing of Debbie Harry as an actress.
Oh, yeah, Deborah Harry.
Because Debbie Harry's in it. And she held up. She knew what she was doing.
What else has she done? Has she done anything else?
She was in, remember Copland, James Mangold?
Is she in Copland?
She's in Copland.
Get out of town.
Yeah. And she's also in John Waters' Hairspray. Yep. And do you remember this? Do you remember this movie? 2002, Spun. Do you remember that?
Oh,
it was a drug.
Spun. That is... oh, God.
Fuck Spun. Why fuck Spun?
Oh, do you know what?
What's wrong with Spun?
No, because that's a genre of movie that I just hate. Sweaty, dirty... drug addicts. Just hanging out, being drug addicts. I'm like, get off I'm not interested in this. Everyone's got fucked up teeth. Everyone's scratching their arms. And everyone's got oily hair and they're gross characters and there's no redeeming feature to them whatsoever. Spun is just an hour and a half of people just being gross drug addicts, and I'm like, I have no interest in that.
That is absolutely what that is.
Yeah.
That is absolutely what that is.
And if you don't have an actual narrative that is worth exploring, I've got no interest. And I feel like there's a genre of just
druggos
being druggos.
Yeah. what is Tales from the Dark Side, the movie, 1990? Have you heard of that before?
I definitely have heard of that, but I've never seen it before.
Right.
It's
the movie.
Yeah.
I love anything the movie.
Oh, yeah, 100%. Well, I think it kind of was trying to compete with the Tales from the Crypt movies that were becoming more popular again.
Yeah, right.
Because I think, like, Demon Knight was... Oh, actually, maybe that came after, actually. Oh. Interesting. So yeah, I've seen the cover. It's got like a big red demon thing on the front.
Yeah,
of it.
holding a book.
Yeah. I've never seen it, so I'd love to watch that.
So yeah, I watched Videodrome. Did you watch anything, Tys?
Yeah. I'll talk about something else. I will talk about what do I want to talk about? I'll save the rest in case I don't get to watch much else for next week's show. I'm going to talk about a movie that is actually trending on Netflix at the moment. It's in the top 10 movies watched. So I thought it could be worth talking about. It's a movie called Ghosts of War. From this year, directed by the guy who directed The Butterfly Effect back in the day.
Wow.
So this is...
I actually really like The Butterfly Effect. I still like it.
I did. I have not watched it since 2005.
Yep.
And I've got no... I hazard a guess that I think it's not going to hold up for me. I think I'm going to hate it. But I used to think it was pretty. I was shocked at how much I enjoyed it back in the day. But yeah, so this is his only other movie since then. He hasn't made another movie in that time.
Okay.
It's got it's like full of TV actors. You've got Brandon Thwaites. You've got also one of the other guys from Titans. So you've got the Dick Grayson and the Nighthawk or whatever his fucking name is in Titans. Both in it. You got Billy Zane in there in a weird role. Billy Zane. You got the guy. Oh, it was one of the guys from the Nightmare on Elm Street remake. The guy that's there at the end with Rooney Mara. He's in this as well.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And so it is a haunted house movie set during World War II. So these soldiers are tasked with just kind of looking after this mansion in Nazi-occupied Germany. And it's like, look, we've held up here for a little while. We've got to make sure that we just hold it from the Nazis, basically. So stay here. We'll send some people, blah, blah, blah. But defend the spot, basically. And so while they're doing that, they discover that the place is haunted. And the spirits start fucking with them, and they've got to figure out how to, basic, typical haunted house stuff. How do we put the spirits to rest? How do we make sure we all survive? Now, the thing about this movie that made it really interesting, I gave it 2.5 stars because there is some really interesting stuff. I think the character work is relatively strong. I think there's especially a couple of supporting characters that I think are really well performed and well realised. I feel like Brandon Thwaites is a little bit kind of... I think he's a bit miscast. I think he's too... he doesn't have the worn face to portray a character that has gone through as much shit as this character has apparently gone through.
Sure.
But this movie then... So you're watching along. You're watching this horror movie. And then you start to see flashes of things, like in the footage.
Yeah.
And you're not quite sure if you saw it or not. But at the back of your mind, you're like, if I saw what I think I saw, and I'm starting to figure out where this movie is going, I'm going to be really, really this is going to be ridiculous. And then in the last 25 minutes, the movie reveals its truth and its twist. And this movie becomes so absolutely ridiculous. You are just like, I cannot believe this is the twist of this movie. This is the most ridiculous thing I've ever seen. This is so dumb. It's like... It's remarkably dumb.
Right there.
It's not even like a drop stars. It's like, I don't think I was going to give it more than a 5 anyway. If anything, it makes it immensely more watchable because once you know that there's a crazy, stupid twist at the end, you're kind of watching going, oh, I wonder what this is because this is pretty boring so far. And at least there's something at the end that's going to... But like, I almost recommend it because it is so... There are twists and there are twists. This is like an M. Night Shyamalan twist, but... without any of the subtlety of his twists.
Right.
And his twists aren't exactly subtle.
They're not subtle.
I'm saying remove all subtlety from his twists. It's like such a 180 that it has no business being in this movie whatsoever. You kind of look at it and go, okay, yeah, it's a twist, but where did you even begin to come from that this was the angle you were going to take? So yeah, it's if in that regard, it's kind of interesting enough and maybe worth a watch, but Yeah, I'd be interested to know if anyone picks it, because there is a moment when I definitely picked it, and it was because there was a flash of footage, and in my head I just kind of went, oh no, is that what this is? I don't want that to be what this is, and it ended up being what it was.
I have to ask you off.
Yeah, you're never going to watch it. You're not going to watch
it. No, I'm not going to watch it. I have to know.
Also, and here's another thing that I think is always a gamble: is that when you put an actor in a role that is somewhat known, right, and then have him removed from the story incredibly quickly, like not in any kind of like, oh, bet you didn't see that coming way, just as in a way where you're just like, hang on. Either Billy Zane is really desperate for work, or he's going to come back later. So when
that was just a guess. Was it really Billy Zane?
Yeah, it's Billy Zane. So when that happens, you're setting yourself up and the audience up for that reveal. You know what I mean? So his role should have been played by a complete nobody, an absolute nobody.
Oh, okay.
Because then we wouldn't have. Because what happens early is that there's a scene with the Billy Zane character, but he's not even the feature of the scene. He's kind of just in it. And then the scene ends and we don't see him again. And for the rest of the movie, you're like, was it weird that Billy Zane was in that scene but really didn't do anything? And you're like, yeah, it was weird, wasn't it? That was Billy Zane. Yeah. Okay, well, he must be coming back. And then as the movie goes on, you suddenly start to go, okay, well, now I know how Billy Zane's going to come back.
Oh, okay.
Just seems like a silly thing to do if you're trying to hide a certain twist. And this movie is, I think, trying to hide it because it is such a ridiculous twist to do that with the actor, because it like, if I didn't know there was a twist in this, I didn't know there was a twist in this when I sat down to watch it. It was only when Billy Zane showed up and disappeared, and then I went 45 minutes and went, Billy Zane hasn't come back, that I started to go, there's going to be a twist in this movie. So yeah, the movie screwed it for me. Anyway, that was Ghosts of War, just on Netflix. I'd love anyone to give it a watch and tell me what they thought, and tell me if they picked it, because it's wild. Absolutely wild. And Nick, I will tell you about it very shortly.
Billy Zane is the key. You have me right.
Billy Zane is the key.
Yes.
To life and all things.
Yeah, and all things.
Nick, why don't we wrap it up there, my man? Do you want to tell the people at home where they can find our show?
Absolutely, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for listening to episode number 160. Good Lord.
Good Lord, indeed.
My God. If you have liked what you've heard, because this episode was definitely a banter episode. We touched on political. We touched on Nazis. We touched on things. We touched on Splash and a butt. Daryl Hannah's butt. And if you like that, then great. If you would like to subscribe, rate, review, we would love you so much to do that. We do have Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. We are on all those things, so you can find us on there. We do have an email account, which is nickTysonVideotape@gmail.com. And if you want to find out what Tyson and myself rated The Rocketeer, directed by Joe Johnson, you're going to have to look us up on Letterboxd. And you can follow Tyson, which is TIS_videotape. And I am NIC_videotape. And that is it.
That is it. Well, next week, Nick.
Tyson, I don't know how many people would have, or how many people are going to like this episode. Because apart from us, I don't know anyone else who likes this movie. Or
I think you'll be surprised.
Do you know a few?
Yeah, well, I think, because I don't, if anything, I think a lot of people don't realise how much they like this movie until they sit down and watch the whole thing. I think it's one of those movies that everyone kind of goes, oh yeah, that's fine. And then you sit down and you go, oh, well, that was fucking ridiculous.
I love this movie.
I love this movie too, Nicholas.
Yes.
And we're going to be talking about...
The movie that we're talking about is Oliver Stone's Any Given Sunday. We feel like a bit of a sports movie. We could go Mighty Ducks, but no, Tyson just watched that.
I did, but also, like, there is a lot to talk about in Any Given Sunday, because...
Exactly, there is.
Oliver Stone was just on so much cocaine.
Exactly, and that's kind of the point.
That is kind of the point. This is a movie made by a pile of cocaine.
Exactly. And right after Halloween in the States, they have Thanksgiving. And what do you watch during Thanksgiving?
You watch the
big game.
Yeah, exactly. You watch the big game.
Watch the game.
Throwing around the pigskin. Yes, Any Given Sunday, Oliver Stone. That's going to be a lot of fun, Nick. I will see you then, buddy.
See you then, man.
All right, man. I'll talk to you later.
Bye, buddy. Bye.
Yeah, say bye.
Bye. Bye. Bye. Bye. Bye. Bye. Bye.